Greetings, Rigil Agateides here, and today we have the one and only Zock. With a miserable turn rate of 33, this amphibious suit is supposed to swim, but water maps are really rare, so we're fish out of the water. A raid type is coming for us on the radar, but special skill 180 flip. All this skill does is use thrusters to swap sides on this two-faced symmetric machine. That doesn't really change anything though, because there's almost nothing we can do to stop this narrow train. We fired our lasers all the way until they overheat, not expecting to live, but by following down the edge, 100% planned, we avoided death for now. Running around the pillar is a good way to stall time, but there's no way we can win doing so because our turn rate is horrendous and the flipping skill requires us to stand still to use. Then we get to the second glaring weak point of the Zock, 0 melee resistance. Enough about the weak points, let's talk about the strengths. On the head of this potato-like machine is a beam cannon that does this. While the Zock is terrible at everything else, its beam cannons hurt like a truck. The Zock has two beam cannons, a large one and an extra large one. The single burst of 4 beams that took a quarter out of that Gelgoog was large. You can also charge it on the move or fire it without charging. Now that we overheated the large one, we crouch and charge our extra large beam. Any wise person on the opposing team would know not to walk into the line of sight of the Zock when his head is glowing. Narrow Trainer comes in brave. We are so close from greatness, but now that we missed, the enemy just dives in. We try to help, but without charging our attacks, they have no stopping power, so we hovered in slowly, popped a few uncharged beams, and went in for a wide sweeping melee attack that barely missed. Not a problem. We had the numbers advantage, so our team had no issues taking down both raid types. The key to using the Zock is to make sure you have an open ground to shoot over. Here we do a 180 flip, moved to the middle of nowhere and started charging our beam cannon. Immediately the enemy retreated back to cover. The psychological impact of this machine is very apparent. Enemy Gelgoog risks it all for a single beam shot, but the shock dampeners resisted the stun and the Gelgoog barely escapes our wrath by dropping off the edge. Our smaller beam cannon managed to hit the Hildorf, doing very significant damage as well. The smaller beams can be charged even while using thrusters and can be fired on the move, so we move closer just to find the shield of the Gelgoog. Something is rapidly approaching from behind. It must be the Narrow Trainer again. We barely do any damage on the Narrow Trainer because it's a raid type. It moves in, but his target is a gun tank. Secret technique 180 down attack double sweep. This attack is literally exclusive to the Zock, and how does it feel to get slammed by a potato support? We run for the clear and do a 180 turn. For some reason the gun tank seems to be a magnet to the enemy, leaving us completely clear to charge our next shot. Most of our team is down already, so we are just trying to do as much as possible before we go down to shock dampener knee sweep. With the skill negating the stun of our enemy's melee attack, only our down attack goes through, and that's another Gelgoog on the floor. While shock dampener prevents immediate stun effects, it doesn't prevent the stun from the accumulation of damage. The tackle was for the Narrow, but he goes down, leaving us in a pretty serious pickle here. The hitbox of the Zock is once again gigantic, so we have and definitely will take more fire. We try to get behind the media while physically blocking shots for our teammate. Finally, we can start charging our final shot, but from this camera angle we literally cannot see half the screen. Scope in, the blast sound effect sounds like it fired, but we will never know if it hit. Second respawn, let's look for our next victim. We find someone trying to get onto the ledge. That's a perfect opportunity to charge our extra large beam cannon. We have to scope out in order to catch up with our aim, but he gets stopped just as we fire our shot, and we barely scratched it with 1 out of 7 hits on that beam. We switch to charge our second beam. This time we manage to hit 2 out of 4 hits, still doing significant damage to that general type. Goes back to charge the extra large beam cannon. There's a Hildorf behind the pillar, but I don't think we can hit it with just one corner of the track sticking out. Our teammates are whittling him down quickly already, so we should better find a different target. The Gelgoog wants to peek. He gets lucky again as we scratch him for 1,000 damage. The enemy won't come up anymore, so we have to move up ourselves. This thing isn't particularly fast, so we have to start moving early every time. 2 missed uncharged shots. The Gelgoog shields are really effective against beam weapons in this game due to their placement and size. The Gelgook wants to play this peeking game again, but we want to get up the ramp as soon as possible instead. The raid types would come if we don't do that quick. Fully charged shot manages to scratch the Gelgook's toe, but they all counted and he goes down. The view up this ledge is really good for raining down beams on the enemy. We charge the extra large beam cannon and find the Hildorf, but he is sadly out of range. What a shame. What isn't is the special counter Iron Nail into the Kneecap Crusher. When two support types work together, even the strongest raid types go down. Now that the Nero Trainer is gone, we are free to unleash all our firepower. Who gave this gigantic potato-shaped fish these beam cannons? Fully charged beam on the Hildorf, that's a lot of damage. Another uncharged shot. At this range we have to be careful with our aim because it's not easy to hit. Second uncharged shot almost took that one down, even an extra infantry bazooka can kill him at that point. Now who's the next victim? Large beam overheats, time to charge the extra large expressor. Steady. You can't really hit people with thrusters. Another scratch. I really should wait more, shouldn't I? Nero Trainer is back, have to keep that in mind. Can we find a shot on the Gelgook? 4,500, that surely hurt. The Nero Trainer finish up our gun tank, it's time for revenge. Fully charged 4 shots and he goes down on our teammate's final shot. Back to our extra large beam cannon, the skill shock dampener stops any stuns but it doesn't stop the damage. Hildorf appears, make sure you look around before you exit a junction please or you'll get hammered by a Zock beam cannon. The enemy Alex Chopham comes up and took down our general type. This means trouble. 30 seconds left, I don't want to finish this match blown up. I can't see the screen, but his health bar still shows, so our shots hit. His bazooka shot can't stun us once again thanks to the shock dampeners. I definitely don't want to overheat the beam cannon this time, so we dreadfully wait for its cooldown. 10 seconds left. One more final shot. That didn't quite hit, but we'll still finish up with a low speed. That was an exciting match. We didn't top the charts, but considering the amount of melee fights we survived, which we're not supposed to by flipping around, I am more than happy about that. That's it from me today. See you next time. And remember to subscribe.